In my opinion, one of the more interesting and enjoyable documents of what was then contemporary hip hop in the later 2010s was this one, Daytona by Pusha T. He's most well known for being a part of Clips, who put out a very acclaimed album called Hell Hath No Fury. It's quite good. And I wanted to talk about the history and backstory about this album, read aloud some information regarding it, because I do think it's an incredibly invigorating and interesting, modest listen at only 21 odd minutes or so. It's just, I think, it's fascinating. I was drawn toward the album because of how much acclaim it received, and I was, yeah, very impressed with it. I'm not listening to it at the time in 2018, it very much sounds like an encapsulation and apotheosis of that year's popular music trends, except encapsulated in a work that's quite interesting, genuinely, apparently confessional, and just sonically captivating on top of that throughout it. Just a little about Pusha T, first of all. Terence LeVar Thornton, born May 13th, 1977, better known by his stage name Pusha T, is an American rapper, songwriter, and record executive. He rose to prominence as one half of the hip-hop duo Clips, which are mainly active from 1994 to 2010, alongside his older brother No Malice. As Clips, the two released 3 studio albums and a number of mixtapes, and had hit singles including Grindin' and When the Last Time, both 2002. In September 2010, Pusha T signed to Kanye West's Good Music imprint under the aegis of Def Jam Recordings. Later that year, he was featured on West's single Runaway, which peaked at number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 2011, he released his first solo project, the mixtape Fear of God, which was followed up with his debut solo album My Name Is My Name, released in 2013. In November 2015, West appointed Pusha T to take over his role as president of Good Music. Pusha T remained a flagship artist for the label till ending his tenure of the company in 2022. Pusha T has released a further 3 solo albums: King Push, Darkest Before the Dawn, The Prelude, 2015, Daytona, this album, 2018, and It's Almost Dry, 2022, all receiving widespread critical acclaim. The latter was Pusha T's first number 1 album to debut on the Billboard 200. I'm of the opinion that Daytona is far and away the most interesting of these albums, although actually my second favourite might be this first one, My Name Is My Name. Yeah. Anyway, on to Daytona itself. The third studio album by American rapper Pusha T. It was released on May 25th, 2018. The album features guest appearances from Rick Ross and Kanye West, and uncredited additional vocals by Tony Williams. That's the contemporary Tony Williams, the world-famous Tony Williams, not the old brilliant jazz drummer Tony Williams. And 070 Shake. 070 Shake. Daniel Balbuena, there you go. Kanye West also served as executive producer and produced all of its tracks, with additional production from Andrew Dawson and Mike Dean. Daytona is the first of 5 albums produced by West in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, what became known as the Wyoming Sessions, released in 2018, with a 7-track album being released every week. The album preceded the release of West's 8th studio album, Yay, West's collaboration of Kid Cudi titled Kid See Ghost, very good album, Nas' 11th studio album, Nasir, I haven't spent much time with that one, and Teyana Taylor's second album, KTSE, I can't say I've listened to that, fine album cover, very cool. Daytona was supported by the lead single, What Would Meek Do, which is released from the album on July 4th, 2018. Daytona debuted at number 3 on the US Billboard 200 with 77,000 album equivalent units, of which 39,000 were pure album sales. The album received widespread critical acclaim from music critics and was considered by many major publications to be one of the best albums of 2018 and the decade. I don't know about the decade, certainly one of the better albums of the year it came out, sure. The album received a nomination for Best Rap Album at the 2019 Grammy Awards. What did win? I'm curious. Best Rap Album. Oh no. You can look that up for yourselves. Easily the finest nomination is Pusha T's Daytona. I'm not the biggest fan of Mac Miller or Nipsey Hussle or Mr. Scott. I won't make a comment about anything that might seem obvious to. There's a reason why people who live in mansions rub me the wrong way. Anyway, continuing, in December 2015, Pusha T released the album King Push, Darkest Before Dawn, The Prelude, which was set to serve as a prelude to Pusha T's third album, King Push. However, the album suffered from numerous delays, and instead, Daytona was announced by Kanye West via Twitter on April 19th, 2018, alongside the album's release date. Pusha T explained the title of the album by stating, "I changed the album title from King Push to Daytona because I felt it didn't represent the overall message of this body of work. Daytona represents the fact that I have the luxury of time. That luxury only comes when you have a skill set that you're confident in." Recording sessions for the album took place in Jackson, Wyoming and Utah during 2017 up to May 2018. Initial production for the album featured a variety of high-profile producers. However, the original material is scrapped in favor of Kanye West producing the entire album. Production influences came from creating individual song lists and sampling. The album contained 10 unique samples across its 7 tracks, making it the most sample-dense project to come out of the Wyoming sessions. Songs recorded for the album include Sociopath, featuring guest vocals from Kanye West and Cash Doll. Sociopath leaked in April 2019 and was later officially released as a single in August 2019, along with Coming Home, which features Lauryn Hill, which was also rumoured to be intended for Daytona. The album was officially completed on May 23rd, 2018, 2 days before digital release. The original artwork for Daytona was replaced a few days before the album's release, with the official artwork showing a picture of now-deceased singer Whitney Houston's drug paraphernalia-littered bathroom. The licensing for the artwork cost $85,000 paid by Kanye West. Houston's ex-husband, Bobby Brown, criticized the cover, saying it was in really, really bad taste. It might well be, to be honest. Canadian rapper Drake responded to the song Infrared, which addressed Drake and his ghostwriting rumors, by releasing a diss track titled Duppy Freestyle on May 25th, 2018, which heavily sampled Ever So Lovingly by Tato Vega. The song garnered significant media attention, as well as a response from Pusha T on Twitter. 4 days later, Pusha T responded with his own song titled The Story of Adidon, which alleges that Drake is secretly the father of a porn star's child. Drake would later go on to confirm this on his own album Scorpion a few weeks later. Drake alleges that the child information was leaked by West, but Pusha T alleges that Drake's producer 40 leaked the info to a woman he slept with. At 21 minutes in length, Pusha T and all those others involved in Daytona realized that the sum total of the album, the intent of it, what one could really appreciate about the sessions and the coherence of the sessions, or the pathos behind it, they realized that to extend it over the kind of organic material that ran into 21 minutes, to extend it beyond that would feel forced and unnatural. So they figured, why not? Rather than being a dismissal of the album as an art form, it needs to be 40 minutes, blah, 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 is actually as much a validation of the album as an art form as ever. And it proves, I think, it's further a demonstration that today, at least at that point in time, and probably still today, hip-hop has proven a far better venue for the album as an art form than rock music, which is just devoted to, let's just fill as many, we've got all this studio time, let's just put as many tracks on the CD as possible. It's like an hour of just like generic crap, and there's no theme or connection. It's just, a bunch of like raucous crap we're going to drink beer to or drive around in the car to, just feeling like, we're having like a midlife crisis at age 25 or something. But actually, whereas, there's ideas for an album with these hip-hop artists or acts, and they go into a studio with these ideas in mind, and they want to create a novel out of it. And especially given the lyrical density of the genre, this is just a given that the album, the initial concept of the album as kind of a music album, as kind of a novel, audio novel, really comes alive more than ever in the hip-hop genre, at this point in time at least. Thanks everyone for sitting through this. If you have, I hope you have the best possible day and night you have ever imagined. Thanks again, my good and dear friends.